Hello and welcome to another video. This video is going to be part one of a three-part series that I am going to do on mechanics. The video will have three different categories, three different sections, three different parts, whatever you want to call it. We're going to go through basic mechanics first, then we'll go through intermediate mechanics, and then we'll wrap up with advanced mechanics. Surprise. Alright, well that is enough of that. Let's dive right into it. So we're going to start with the most basic and common mechanic in the entire game, and that's AoE attacks. AoE stands for Area of Effect. In the game, attacks are indicated by an orange shape on the ground. The shape can be a circle, it can be a cone, it could be a line, it could be half the room, it could be a lot of different things. AoEs are indicated by a variety of different shapes. If you see the shape on the ground, that means the attack is telegraphed. If you don't see it, that means the attack is untelegraphed, right? The color of the telegraph is typically orange. Most of the mechanics in the early game are just the orange telegraphs, but later on those change. They have all sorts of different colors and shapes and effects and all these different things. So in the beginning they warm you up with orange, but later on they'll change. Damage is based on whether or not your character is in the telegraph when it's on, not the animation. So I'm not sure if you know this or not, but your character is only 1 pixel wide, so you have a little bit of wiggle room when it comes to these AoE attacks. So as long as 1 pixel of your player is not on that telegraph when it goes off, you won't take any damage from it. So you do have a little bit of wiggle room. Once the telegraph disappears, you are then free to go back into that position, and then you won't get hit by the attack. So you'll see players do this a lot, where the AoE attack will go off, and then once it's done going off, once the telegraph disappears, they run right to where the telegraph was. The animation will then go off, which makes it look like you're going to take damage, but you actually don't take damage. The damage is not based on the animation, it's based on when the telegraph turns off. The next mechanic we're going to talk about is called the gaze mechanic. The gaze mechanic is a big purple eye that will appear usually over the top or over a boss's head. What it means is turn around, look away, don't look at it. Your character has to turn around. Your character cannot look at the eye. Your camera is fine. If your camera sees it, it doesn't matter, but your character has to turn around and not look at the eye. If the attack that is coming is untelegraphed, that means it doesn't matter where you stand. Just turn around and you're fine. If the attack is telegraphed, that means that you can either A, not stand in the telegraph and you'll be fine regardless of where you're looking, or B, if you're standing in the telegraph, then you have to look away. The next mechanic we'll go over is tethers. Tethers are when two things are connected. It could be a boss to a trash mob, the boss to an item, a player to an item, or even a player to another player. Those are actually called chains, and we'll talk more about that in the intermediate video. When two things are connected, the game is trying to tell you, look here, look at this, this needs your attention, you need to do something with this. The majority of the time, you're trying to break the tether by either interacting with the item or killing whatever it is connected to. The last basic mechanic that I want to talk about is single target markers. These markers appear over your head. They are typically red, and it's not really like an arrow, it looks like a weird sort of red icon. They generally mean that you have been targeted for something. It could be a direct damage attack, it could be an AoE attack. So that means stay away from other players. If you get that red icon over your head, just don't stand next to your party and you'll be fine. Alright, that is all I have for the basic mechanics video. To recap, AoEs are area of effect attacks, don't stand in them. Tethers are when two things are connected. You want to break tethers usually. Gaze attacks mean you want to look away from them, turn your character around and make sure your character is not looking at the eye. Single target markers appear as red markers over your head, and they mean you've been targeted for something and to get away from other players. In the next video, we'll be talking about intermediate mechanics such as stack mechanics, distance-based mechanics, proximity effects, and pillars. See you in the next one. Cheers.